Hello friends, I am Ambika. Welcome to SA Educational Hub, a platform to share knowledge, service providers Situn and Ambika. In this Python tutorial video, we will learn what is break statement in Python, examples of break statements, nested loop and break statements with example, continuous statement in Python, examples of continuous statements, difference between break and continue, example that illustrates the difference between break and continue. What is break statement in Python? The break statement provides an early exit from for and while loop. When a break statement is encountered inside a loop, the loop is terminated and the program continues with the statement immediately following the loop. When the loops are nested, the break would only exit from the loop containing it. That is, the break will exit only a single loop. In code, a break statement simply contains the break keyword. Example 1. For I in range 10, print I. If I equals 4, break, print loop complete. In this example, as we can see, although the for loop is designed to run from 0 to 10, the break statement causes it to terminate early when I equals 4. The break statement can be executed with any of Python's loops, including intentionally infinity loops. In this example, the first line creates an infinity loop. It is a while loop whose condition is always true. The expression true always evaluates down to the value true. After the program execution enters this loop, it will exit the loop only when a break statement is executed. An infinity loop that never exits is a common programming bug. This program asks the user to enter your name. Now, however, while the execution is still inside the while loop, an if statement checks whether the name is equal to Julia. If this condition is true, the break statement is run and the execution moves out of the loop to print thank you. Otherwise, if statements class that contains the break statement is skipped, which puts the execution at the end of the while loop. At this point, the program execution jumps back to the start of the while statement to recheck the condition. Since this condition is merely the true boolean value, the execution enters the loop to ask the user to type your name again. When the loops are nested, the break would only exit from the loop containing it. That is, the break will exit only a single loop. Example. In this example, as we can see, the break statement in the loop only causes termination of that loop. The outer loop is unaffected. In this program, the outer loop for I in range 3 iterates 3 times, that is 0 through 2. Because the default value of the starting point of the range function is 0, the ending point 3 is not included. So the outer loop iterates 3 times, that is 0 through 2. As we can see, although the inner for loop is designed to run from 0 to 100, the break statement causes it to terminate early when j equals 5. So for each iteration of the outer loop, the inner loop will display values 0 through 4. Here the outer loop is unaffected and displays pass 0, pass 1 and pass 2 because when the loops are nested, the break would only exit from the loop containing it. That is, the break will exit only a single loop. Points to remember. The break statement in Python was not designed to provide the normal means by which a loop is terminated. The loop's conditional expression serves this purpose. The break statement should be used to cancel a loop only when some sort of special situation occurs. Continuous statements. Sometimes it is useful to force an early iteration of a loop. That is, you might want to continue running the loop but stop processing the remainder of the code in its body for this particular iteration. The continue statement performs such an action. The continue statement causes the next iteration of the enclosing for or while loop to begin. When the program execution reaches a continue statement, the program execution immediately jumps back to the start of the loop and re-evaluates the loop's condition. This is also what happens when the execution reaches the end of the loop. The continue statement tells the compiler, skip the following statements and continue with the next iteration. In code, a continue statement simply contains the continue keyword. The break and continue statements can appear anywhere inside the while or for loop's body, but they are usually coded further, nested in an if test to take action in response to some condition. For the for loop, continue causes the next iteration by updating the loop variable with the next value in sequence, and for the while loop, the program control passes the conditional test given at the top of the loop. Example 1. I is initialized to 0 while I is less than 5, I is equal to I plus 1. If I equals 3, continue, print I. The continue statement means jumps back to the top of the loop. At the top of the loop, the while condition is tested and the loop is entered again if it evaluates to true. So when I is equal to 3, the program does not get to the print I statement. Instead, it goes right back to the top of the loop so that 3 is never printed. So the output is 1, 2, 4 and 5. Example 2. This example uses continue to skip odd numbers. This code prints all even numbers greater than 0 and less than or equal to 10. The percent sign is the remainder of division operator, that is modulus operator. So this loop counts up to 10, skipping numbers that are not multiples of 2, and it prints 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. Because continue jumps to the top of the loop, the print is only reached if the continue is not run. Example 3. For the for loop, continue causes the next iteration by updating the loop variable with the next value in a sequence. In this program, only the values divisible by 3 are missing, as the loop simply moved to the next iteration with continue when I %3 became true. Only the iterations with I modulus operator 3 equals to 0 are terminated. Next iterations are performed as it is. Example 4. As an example, this code processes only the non-negative elements in the list. Negative values are skipped. In this code, only the negative values are missing, as the loop simply moved to the next iteration with continue when a less than 0 became true. Example 5. This example uses continue statement to write a program that asks for a name and password. If the user enters any name besides Julia, the continue statement causes the program execution to jump back to the start of the loop. When the program re-evaluates the condition, the execution will always enter the loop since the condition is simply the value true. Once the user enters the name Julia, they are asked for a password. If the password entered is Python, then the break statement is run and the execution jumps out of the while loop to print access granted. Otherwise, the execution continues to the end of the while loop, where it then jumps back to the start of the loop. Run this program and give it some input until you claim to be Julia. The program should not ask for a password, and once you enter the correct password, it should exit. Example 6. When the loops are nested, the continue statement would transfer the control to the beginning of the loop that contains it. In this code, the continue statement in the loop only affected the inner loop. The outer loop is unaffected. In this code, when the value of I equals that of j, the continue statement takes the control to the beginning of the inner for loop by passing the rest of the statements pending execution in the inner for loop. Break versus continue. The break and continue statements are jump statements in Python, as both the statements skip over a part of the code. But the continue statement is somewhat different from break. The break statement causes the loop to be terminated. The continue statement does not terminate the loop. The continue causes the loop to be continued with the next iteration after skipping any statements in between. The continue statement tells the compiler, skip the following statements and continue with the next iteration. The break statement provides an early exit from the loop. A break causes the innermost enclosing loop to be exited immediately. Following program illustrates the difference between break and continue. The loop with break produces outputs of 1 and 2 because the loop terminated with break when condition A equals to 3 became true. Loop terminated all pending iterations. In the case of continue, only the value equal to 3 is missing, as the loop simply moved to the next iteration with continue when A equals to 3 became true. Only the iteration with A equals to 3 is terminated. The next iterations are performed as they are. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Previous video was for loop and range function in Python. Contact us ambikarai27@gmail.com. Please feel free to contact us if you have any questions or suggestions. Thank you.